Assalamualaikum, welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, we are going to continue our series on the beliefs of the Sufis and Ahlus Sunnah in regards to the pillars of Iman. We have completed the topic on Tawhid al-Uluhiyah and Tawhid al-Rububiyyah, and today we're going to begin a new topic called the second pillar, belief in the angels. As Muslims, we believe in the angels, and anybody who disbelieve or do not believe in the angels, in the existence of the angels, then they cannot be considered a Muslim. And so we are going to continue here. There are many texts in the Sharia which prove that believing in the angels is an obligation. The Most High said, Allah here said, each one believes in Allah, His angels, His books, and His messenger. Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2 of the Quran, ayah number 285. The angels are from the creation of Allah, created from light. They do not disobey the commands of Allah that are placed on them. They are not exempt from the decree of Allah and following His orders. Allah has described the angels to us. From these descriptions includes some of their names, such as angel called Jibril, and others that have been given names based on their responsibilities, such as the angel of death and the angel entrusted with breathing the soul. However, some of the Sufis direct their supplications to the angels, and this is from the prohibitions that takes one out of the religion of Islam. And the explanation of this point has preceded. Allah mentioned, so invoke not anyone along with Allah. And this is Surah Al-Jinn, chapter 72 of the Quran, ayah number 18. And again, another proof text here is, nor would He order you to take angels and prophets as lords. Would He order you to disbelieve after you have submitted to Allah's will? Okay. And this is from the tafsir of Surah At-Tabari, and this is Surah Ali Imran, chapter number 3, ayah number 80. Another proof text here. They, the angels, will say, glorified be you, you are our wali, meaning Lord, instead of them. Nay, but they used to worship the jinns, most of them were believers in them. Surah Sabah, chapter 34, ayah number 41. This ayah proves that some people mistake the acts of the jinn and believe that they are from the acts of the angels. And this is the belief of many of those who practice at-tasawwuf. Okay. Due to this belief of theirs, there are times when a jinn comes and talks to some of them. Either he whispers into the thoughts of the person or he talks with an audible voice. But they believe that it is an angel that has descended as part of revelation, and give them some form of intuition or knowledge of the unseen. However, the Sharia has been completed by the Quran and the Sunnah, and we are in no need to rely on anything other than the Quran and the Sunnah, basically, of which we have no knowledge about, okay? Or we do not need to depend on other sources upon which we have no knowledge about. Moreover, the jinn and the shayateen whisper into the hearts of men, just as the Most High says. Shayateen, the devils, among mankind and jinns, inspiring one another to adorn speech as a delusion or by way of deception. Okay. Surah Al-An'am, chapter 6 of the Quran, ayah number 112. Another proof text here from the same surah, this time ayah number 121. And certainly, the shayateen do inspire their friends and their friends from mankind to dispute with you, and if you obey them, okay, by making a dead animal legal to eat, okay, then you would indeed be mushrikun, you would be the polytheists, because the devils and their friends made lawful to you to eat that which Allah has made unlawful to eat, and you obey them by considering it lawful to eat, and by doing so you worship them, and to worship others besides Allah is polytheism. Some of the Sufis have incorporated these beliefs and have directed such practices to a terminology they call tahdir al-arwah, okay? The presence of the soul, meaning the dead people are here with them and they talk to the dead people, right? Or they go to the grave and they talk to the dead person in the grave. This is where the jinn are used to talk to their followers. Okay, this is where the jinn are, and the jinns used to talk to their followers with the voice of some of the deceased. As a result, the jinn are called upon in order to meet the needs of people. In origin, all of this is prohibited because such practices, including this one specifically, are a type of seeking help, okay, that could have been acted upon in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Despite this, the Prophet ﷺ never did such a thing, which is proof that these practices have no precedence in the Sharia. So basically, if you call upon the help of the jinn or call upon the help of the angel, and the Prophet, when he was alive, he never called upon anyone besides Allah for help. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. And so, if the Prophet never did that, why are we doing it today? Why some of us are doing it today, and why some of us are actually encouraging others to do it today, right? So this is not from the teachings of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, okay, the Prophet. Now, it is also prevalent in some of the communities from where I'm from, not necessarily the direct communities, but the larger communities as a whole, whereby people believe that spirits of the dead are able to come back. The arwah, the dead people, the deceased people, they are able to come back into their homes and dwells amongst their family members for a certain period of time. Okay, there are some numbers going on around here, I will not mention, And so during this period of time, the arwah, the dead people, the deceased people, they return to their homes to see their families, to see what their wives are or their husbands are doing. Now, this is outside the time that has been specifically mentioned by Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so, for example, today, someone just buried their family members, and then when they come back home, that night, they believe that their family, the dead person is actually, the soul of the dead person actually comes back. And so this is completely falsehood. This is disbelief. And if you, just like what the Sheikh here is saying, this could be jinn who impersonate the dead people to misguide the people, to misguide someone. Okay, and so we should be very careful here. The dead people don't come back, their souls don't come back. When they have passed away, their souls go completely to the different realm. The dead people, their souls don't come back here. And so we should be very careful as to what we believe. Okay? We should have firm aqidah on this. Okay? This is also because the jinn refuse to help except if they receive something in return. Whether people worship the jinn. Now, if you have studied about how magicians, real magicians, not the ones you see on TV, how these people who does sihir, right? Does sihir, so to speak, they have to do all sorts of things that actually make them stoop so low. And once they did this, then only the jinn will be able to help them. The jinn will not help them just by them asking the jinn for help. They have to do something very, very, very serious that actually no other mankind would actually do. I'll not mention it because this is actually a topic that I've mentioned in the past, and I do not want to encourage people how to call upon the jinn. But if you actually do your research and study using authentic sources, they actually have to desecrate themselves, so to speak, before the jinn will actually appear in front of them. And on the day when He will gather them all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather all of them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, O you assembly of jinns, many did you mislead of men. Okay? And their awliya, their friends and helpers amongst men will say, Our Lord, we benefited one from the other, but now we have reached our appointed term, which you didn't appoint for us. He will say, The fire be your dwelling place, you will dwell therein forever, except as Allah may will. Certainly your Lord is all-wise, all-knowing. Again, from the same surah, Al-An'am, chapter 6, ayah number 128. And so, calling upon the jinn, calling upon the angels, disbelief in the angels, and even disbelieving in the jinn, the existence of the jinn and the angel, these are all actually leads you out of the fold of Islam. Because if you disbelieve in the unseen, which includes the jinns and the angels, then basically you have disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah is from the unseen. And also every activities that happen without your knowledge, that are not from the realm of the living, for example the barzakh, if you disbelieve in such realm, if you disbelieve in the hereafter, in heaven and hell, basically you have come out of the fold of Islam. And so we should be very, very careful as to what we utter, even if we just say it out of anger or something like that, right? And so to disbelieve in the angels, to call upon the angels, to call upon anyone besides Allah Azza wa Jal, is actually kufr, right? Is actually disbelief. And if you believe that this is something that is justifiable, basically you have gone against the Quran and you have gone against the Sunnah, right? And people will most probably excommunicate you. But again, it is not for people like me and you to excommunicate anyone, because they'll need to be put in front of the court, and then the scholars will have to do this part. As for us laymen, we should not be, in fact I will even go stronger, it is discouraged, okay? It is discouraged that we actually engage in sorts of activities that actually excommunicate someone, right? We have no authority to excommunicate anyone. The best thing for us to do is to make dua for them, especially the Sufis, because some of them are actually blind following their sheikh. They do not actually know that this is part of the practices, part of the beliefs. And so when they jump around in the masjid and when they are seated down, then suddenly they all stood up, and the sheikh mentioned that the spirit of Rasulullah SAW is here in the masjid amongst us. Then everybody believe, and so this is falsehood. But a lot of people actually do not know, and so they are ignorant, which is why education, religious education, is very important. And even if part-time religious education, like majority of us today have part-time religious education, it is also important. It is better than not having any religious education at all. And so in the next video, we will go through the third pillar, and that is belief in the books. Okay? And until then, my name is Arfat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.